It was one of those perfect autumn mornings in the city, the kind that feels like a gift wrapped in golden light. The air was crisp and cool, carrying the earthy scent of fallen leaves, and the sun sliced through the branches of the towering oaks and maples in Central Park, painting the lawns in shifting patterns of gold and green. For me, it was sanctuary, my escape, a reprieve from the relentless pressure of my job in corporate law. Out there, with my running shoes pounding the pavement in a steady rhythm, the endless meetings and brutal deadlines would melt away, replaced by the clean burn in my lungs and the simple freedom of motion. I was on my usual 5-mile loop, mind blissfully empty, body moving on autopilot. I rounded a familiar bend near the quieter northern edge of the park, eyes tracing the path ahead. That's when I saw it, something out of place. On a solitary wooden bench beneath a grand old oak tree, there was a small, dark shape. From a distance, it looked like a discarded bag, or maybe a child's forgotten stuffed animal. But something about it felt wrong. There was a flicker of unnatural silver in the morning light, a cold, metallic glint that didn't belong. Curiosity pulled me closer. I slowed my pace from a run to a jog, then to a walk. My eyes fixed on the bench, and as I drew nearer, the image sharpened into a nightmare. It wasn't a bag. It wasn't a toy. It was a dog. A tiny Yorkshire Terrier. So small, he looked swallowed by the vastness of the park around him. But he wasn't just sitting there. He was encased in silver duct tape. Wide, industrial-looking strips wrapped tightly around his little torso, pinning his front legs to his sides. Another crude band was wound around his muzzle, a cruel, silencing gag. And around his neck, a heavy, ridiculously oversized metal chain, padlocked to the armrest of the bench. He was trapped, mummified in silver and steel. I stopped dead in my tracks. My heart hammered against my ribs. My mind struggled to process what my eyes were seeing. It was grotesque, deliberate, evil. He was frozen not from cold, but from terror. His eyes, huge, dark and wide, held a fear so profound it felt like a physical blow. And taped to the back of the bench, just above his head, was a piece of white paper. In messy, thick black marker, a note was scrawled, "Take him. He doesn't deserve me." The arrogance of it, the sheer, monstrous audacity, sent a shockwave of white-hot rage through me. This wasn't abandonment born of desperation. This was blame. This was a coward casting out their victim and painting themselves as the wronged one. The world around me faded. The distant traffic, the birds, the laughter from a faraway playground, all gone. There was only me, this trembling soul, and the ghost of the monster who left him to die. My run was over. My mission had begun. I scanned the trees, the paths, the shadows. Was the person who did this still watching? The thought chilled me, but the rage was stronger. I had to act, now. I knelt slowly, making myself small and non-threatening. "Hey there, little guy," I whispered, voice softer than I knew I could manage. "It's okay. I'm here to help." He flinched violently at the sound. A muffled whimper escaped behind the tape, proof he was trying to cry but couldn't even do that. My heart shattered. First, I ripped the note from the bench and crumpled it in my fist, a small act of defiance against the abuser's lie. Then came the tape. I worked with trembling fingers, starting at his muzzle. It was stuck fast. I peeled it back millimeter by agonizing millimeter. When it finally came free, he gasped, a tiny, ragged breath of air. Then the body tape, wrapped so tightly he could barely breathe. I talked to him the whole time. You're so brave. Such a good boy. We're going to get you out of this nightmare. When the last strip fell away, I turned to the chain. Thick, heavy, padlocked, no bolt cutters. But the loop around the armrest was just big enough. With careful maneuvering, I lifted it over the end. He was free. I gathered his trembling body into my arms. He weighed almost nothing, just bones beneath matted fur. I held him close, kissed the top of his head, and whispered, "You're safe now, I promise." And that's when it started. The moment he was secure in my arms, he erupted. Not in aggression, but in a frantic, high-pitched torrent of barks. Relentless, piercing. A tiny, furious alarm echoing through the quiet park. My first instinct was trauma. He was terrified. "Shh, it's okay," I cooed, stroking his back. But the barking only intensified. People stared. A jogger gave me a wide berth. I didn't care. I just needed to get him home. The 10-block walk felt like 10 miles. He barked non-stop, a sound of pure distress. I tried everything. Soft words, humming, covering his eyes. Nothing worked. When I finally got my apartment door open and set him gently on the plush rug, that's when everything changed. The second his back paws touched the floor, his barking morphed into a scream, a high-pitched, agonized shriek of pure, unadulterated pain. He collapsed, one leg splayed at a sickening angle, wailing like his world was ending all over again. I froze. Blood turned to ice. The truth hit me like a sledgehammer. This wasn't just abandonment. This was torture. The monster hadn't just chained him, they had broken him first. The note's words echoed in my mind. He doesn't deserve me. The lie of it made me sick. This dog hadn't failed his owner. His owner had failed him in the most monstrous way imaginable. I scooped him back up. Instantly, the screaming stopped, replaced by whimpering. Then the familiar frantic barks. And then I understood. He wasn't barking out of fear. He was screaming a warning. "Don't put me down. It hurts. Please, don't make me stand." He'd been trying to tell me the whole time. My rage hardened into cold determination. I grabbed my phone, my wallet, and ran into the street, hailing a taxi. Animal hospital, fast. The driver took one look at us and stepped on the gas. During the ride, I held Pip close, whispering promises. "The pain will end. You'll never be hurt again." And in my heart, I made another vow. I will get you justice. At the 24-hour emergency clinic, the staff sprang into action. A kind-eyed vet named Dr. Laura Chen listened as I recounted everything. The bench, the tape, the note, the scream. She examined Pip gently, avoiding his back legs. "We need x-rays," she said grimly. "But I'll have to sedate him first." I agreed without hesitation. As the sedative took hold, Pip's frantic energy melted away. For the first time since I'd found him, he was at peace. Alone in the exam room, I stared at the crumpled note in my hand. How could anyone do this? 20 minutes later, Dr. Dorit Chen returned with x-rays. She didn't need to speak. Her face said it all. She clipped the films to the light box. There it was, both femurs shattered, clean, transverse fractures. "This wasn't an accident," she said, voice low with fury. "This was deliberate trauma. A powerful kick. A hard object. This was torture." The proof in black and white made me nauseous. "Can you fix him?" I asked, voice cracking. "He's young," she said, shifting to determined optimism. "The fractures are clean. We can do surgery, pins, plates, but it'll be expensive, and recovery will take months of physical therapy. Then she paused. We should check for a microchip. If we find the owner, we can press felony charges. Hope flickered. The tech scanned him. A single tone. No chip found. My heart sank. He was a ghost. The monster had planned it that way. No trace, no accountability. But as I looked at his sleeping form, I knew. It didn't matter. He's my dog now, I said, voice steady. Do the surgery. Send me the bill. We'll get through this together. Dr. Chen smiled. I was hoping you'd say that. I signed the papers, taking full responsibility. My orderly life was over, replaced by a mission of love. The day of surgery was agony. I dropped him off at dawn, kissed his head, and spent the day useless at work, staring at a blank screen. When Dr. Chen called in the afternoon, relief nearly buckled my knees. He's a fighter, she said. Surgery was a success. Over the next days, I visited him constantly. He lay in a kennel, both back legs in bulky white casts, weak but alert. When he saw me, his tail gave one feeble thump. The frantic barking was gone, replaced by quiet trust. Bringing him home was a new chapter. I'd puppy-proofed not for mischief, but for healing. Non-slip rugs, low orthopedic bed, a safe pen. The first weeks were round-the-clock care, carrying him outside in a sling, administering meds, hand-feeding him. Exhausting? Yes. But in those quiet moments, cleaning his face, holding him as he slept, a bond formed deeper than I'd ever known. Then came physical therapy, gentle massage, range of motion exercises. And the day we tried the underwater treadmill, I watched through glass as he took his first hesitant step in warm water. Then another. He was walking. I cried in the hallway. Weeks turned to months. Casts came off. Fur grew back thick and silky. The gaunt skeleton I'd found became a healthy, vibrant dog. He learned to play, chasing soft, squeaky balls, rolling on his back for belly rubs. He learned what it meant to be loved. Loud noises still startled him, but he'd look to me for reassurance. One soft word, one gentle hand, and he was safe again. He wasn't the silent statue from the bench anymore. He was Pip, goofy, joyful, fiercely affectionate, and the world's best cuddler. He insisted on sleeping, tucked under my arm, every night. One evening, after a grueling day at the office, I came home exhausted. There he was, waiting by the door, tail wagging so hard his whole body wiggled. He jumped up, front paws on my leg, eyes full of adoration. I sat on the couch, and he hopped into my lap with a contented sigh. I kissed his head, the same spot I'd kissed that first day. The scar on his leg was faint now, almost invisible. He was whole. He was home. And in that moment, I understood the truth. The note had it backward. It wasn't that he didn't deserve his owner. It was that his owner had never deserved him. I saved his life that day in the park. But the truth is, he saved mine right back. He filled a void I didn't know I had. He taught me resilience. He showed me the power of unconditional love. He proved that even after the darkest hell, a heart can choose to love again. Today, Pip runs through the park, not as a victim, but as a survivor. A beacon of hope. A living reminder that cruelty doesn't have the final word. Love does. And sometimes, all it takes is one person to stop, to see, to act, and to say, You're coming home.